Good morning, good morning. How's everybody? Seeing Mr. E and Liz, 3D Medic Vance, good morning. A little bit of an impromptu stream, so I figured I was out here. Why not set up a camera and talk to some folks about things and stuff. Hey, Zombie, good morning. Yeah, so today I want to work on my X1 Carbon a little bit. It is needing an update, and these flies are driving me nuts. But it needs a little bit of an update. So I need to install a couple of things that I got from Biqu, and then I need to give it just a little bit of a clean. It's not super bad. I keep up on the maintenance with it. It's been a workhorse for over 3,500 hours now. So it's 3 years old. I got it as a Kickstarter backer 3 years ago, and I've put it through its paces. For most of the printers that I have now currently that we haven't been working on in the last couple of months have been printed on the X1 Carbon. So all those plastic parts for the most part are printed on the X1 Carbon. So been a workhorse for me. Maintenance is key to that though. So if you want your printer to work for 3,500 hours, you need to maintain it on a regular schedule. That said, I'll clean it up a little bit while I'm in there, and we're gonna install some goodies, okay? So if you guys don't mind, we're gonna get started. All right, that's my X1 Carbon, and it's still shiny, so that's good. One of the original build plates. This is a textured PEI. That's what I prefer to do. I started to install the Panda status, and I was like, oh wait, let me stream this. And so I paused there. So I already stuck this on, but you can see it's not connected. I just kind of have it routed through. So we'll need to clean that up a little bit as part of this install. It's a little dark in there, so taking this top panel off should help. I did lose one of my lights this morning, and I need to replace the bulb in there. Didn't fully expect that to be the case, but I walked out here and one of my lights burned out, so we'll have to do that. I think to make life easy, I'm going to remove this glass door, simply because it's going to be in the way and it doesn't open 180. So having it out of the way is preferable. So it's just 4 screws here, and we can take the door off. There are these very wide button head screws. You can see that, but a very wide head screw, but it's very short. So be careful. Let me grab a tray. So you can find all sorts of trays. I usually get mine from Harbor Freight, but I found these really cool anodized trays on AliExpress, and I was already making an order, so I threw these in, and here they are. I think they were only like $2 for a pair of them. But they come in super handy for this kind of stuff. So just taking all 4 of these out. I'm going to support the glass for these other 2 and try not to lose my mind over these flies. Keep landing on my head and face. Bring you over here. I don't know what's going on, but this morning was really cool. And then I came out here today, and there are just flies all in the garage. It's like 3 or 4 of them. And I'm not sure where they're coming from. So that is that. We'll put that over here safe, and we'll give that a deep clean here in a bit. Sean, good morning. How's the music and stuff for everybody? Is it too loud? Not loud enough? On the last stream, I was told that some folks were hearing like an echo, and I'm not exactly sure why that was the case. But if you guys are hearing that, let me know. I thought maybe the music was a little too loud. It's fine. Great. Mr. E. Bryce, what we're gonna do to the X1 Carbon is, number 1, clean it up just a little bit. I'm gonna grease everything while I'm in there, and then clean up the extra grease as well. I want to install a Jetpack. So it's already had before. It had before one of the other ones. I forget the name of it, but it was an MJF fan duct, and it worked okay. But I figured I would try this one out. It's roughly the same thing. I think it looks cool. So we'll do that. And then also, I'm going to add one of these. So this is the Panda Turbo Kit. I've had this, I don't know, a solid month or so, probably a little more by now. And the one thing that I was missing was a separate power supply. So I don't know if you know this, but when you order the Panda Turbo, you've got to get your own power supply. This is the one that I picked up. This is a universal power supply that I found on Amazon. And in here, there are a bunch of different tips that you can use to connect power. And then I think the important part was to make sure it was the right voltage. And so you want to have 24 volt, and I believe it was 3 amps. There's more info on the website. We'll look at that here in a second, but this one you can dial it in. So you can dial in your voltage to what you want it to be. And so it goes up to 24 volt output at 3 amps, 72 watts, which I want to say those are the numbers that you need to run this. And it has to run separately. The power supply in the machine is not enough to keep it going. So separate power supply is what we're going to do. Also, I've got up here, what is this thing called? A Panda Power? Yeah, I've got the Panda Power here that I want to put on as well. So this is going to provide a way to turn on and off the printer with just a website if you want to. And then you have 2 additional USB ports here if you want to plug in the other part, which is the Panda status. So lots of Panda line stuff that I want to get done today. Not to mention, I did get some of the AMS guards as well. I have an original AMS on this guy, and eventually I think I'll put an AMS 2 on there. But these should help from, you know, wearing out the filament chutes. But that'll probably come later. Yours worked okay till it knocked off the tool head and broke the duct. Yeah, it is pretty flimsy. It's got to be MJF. And all of those little tiny spars in there, if it takes a hit, I can see that being a problem. Panda, Panda, Panda. One of my favorite songs. I think that's going to be my walkout song if I get promoted at work. Get out of here. I need to find that electric fly swatter because I am getting tore up. Can't wait for the wife to get home. Maybe she can help me out. I really don't know which one of these tips I'm going to use, but we'll do that. Spent yesterday printing the required top hat you need. And this is it here. So this is the top hat we need for the Panda, what's it called? Panda Turbo. And that should just sit on top of there like that. These STLs are on their GitHub, and I didn't look at what I was doing. I just kind of put it together. So these need to be swapped out here. We'll do a couple of, you know, things just kind of slide together like that. Now right now it's too narrow, so I'm swapping my left and right so that they sit where they should be, and then we'll swap the left and the rights at the front of the machine as well. Let me move the camera up here. The H2D is in the background printing a bunch of DIN mounts for my other project I'm working on. Should have done this yesterday, but I didn't really think about it. Everything's printed in blue PETG. This should be fine for this application. I do have a chamber heater in here though, so I'd be interested to see how that holds up over time. If we need to print it out of ABS or something better, we can do that. But that's what it looks like on top. It does have these individual like sliders that you can open up if you want to vent things. but I feel like I have to take the top glass off anyway just to access these sliders, because the glass sits on top of there and blocks everything. So if I'm taking the glass off, I don't really care about the sliders. So just my thoughts. But that is gonna sit over here until we get ready for it. Ooh, these flies. It's one of the most annoying things in the world, is having flies that want to land on your head and face all day long. Should get the upgraded wiper and purge chute. Its PEI helps with build up in the chute. I have it. So I know you probably can't see it back here. Let's see if we can tilt this forward. We'll give an overview of what I have done to the machine already. This has been an evolving thing over the last 3 years. So I've got the hula feet on it. I've got the hula feet on the printer itself. So that helped out a little bit. Now it rocks and rolls like the X2D. I printed these covers here, these blue covers, just to keep dust and dirt out of the belt path there. I've also added on this spool holder, and this is it's got bearings in it to help it roll a little better. I've got a splitter attached here. This is from CNC, and it's a polycarbonate splitter. So now I can just do external without having to connect and reconnect the PTFE. And then this one is for my AMS, the secondary one here. Turning it around, I do have the hub, so if I wanted to run multiple AMSs, I could. I do have 2 original AMSs for this. Just want to take this wire out of the way. I have 2 AMSs. This can accept up to 4. I've got a printable chute that's magnetic, and then I just have a large bucket down here that I use with that. Also got covers in the back to cover up the ports there to keep dust and whatever out. Let me take this PTFE tube out. That over here. Let's see, what else have I done? Tipping it back. There's a project called Steinwipe that changes your G code, and it allows you to have a wiper mounted here. That's what this piece is. But now that the new Panda chute is out, I don't use the Steinwipe anymore. So this is the Panda wiper. I don't know what they actually call it, but that's it there. And then it had a stick-on, I don't even know what you call it, like a guard that goes on there. And so I've got that. I think that's what you were talking about, Bryce. This is the original aux fan from the printer itself. And I saw somebody's video, I forget the name, but they were talking about how it may be a good idea to check your fan and update it with the newest one, because the newer one is more powerful or whatever. And so I'll probably do that. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just seeing like some bits of filament and stuff in here. Again, I use this one quite a bit. Not as much as I use the H2D lately, but quite enough. You don't have an X1 carbon? Well, Projects in Dad's Garage. Play your cards right, you might be able to take this one. I'm just joking. This is my workhorse. This one is had a lot of love. Also I have the Panda Lux at the front of the machine, so that throws light down through the chamber there, so that helps out. And yeah, that's kind of it. So I know that I'm gonna have to take this back panel off, so we'll leave the printer turned around the way that it is. Hey, Fern Dog, good morning. One thing you like about is the PTFE helper by K2 Kevin. I need all of the K2 Kevin things, Liz. So not only did I print the top hat for this thing, that riser, but I also printed Iconic Fab's stealth press. So I broke mine and I printed his. So this is it in the same blue PETG that I was using for the top hat, and I like it a lot. I need to start printing Kevin's stuff as I get more organized in the shop. His, what do they call it? The rugged drawer system and stuff. I need that in my life. So I'm getting there. Just a matter of time. A little bit at a time. The more machines I can have online, the faster I'll be able to print those things. I think just right now, I can only run probably 3 printers at a time before I pop a breaker. My garage is not set up to have a lot of high-powered devices running at the same time. I've got one outlet on the wall to my left over there where the H2D is plugged in, and then one on the opposite wall, and then one behind my streaming setup here. And outside of that, that's it in the entire garage. And so when you have 20-something printers, they're not all going to work on one outlet without problems. So physically, I can't run everything. And that limits me a lot. Don't have a choice. This is the house as it is. You're printing the screw organizers for your multi-part wall. Cool. I want to see a picture of that when you get it done, Bryce. Sorry, I just got back from the gym like an hour ago. My mouth is crazy dry. I feel so dehydrated. H2D just finished up. It's down there flashing green. Need to pull those parts off here in a bit. Let it cool down just a touch, and then I'll start the next print. I really like that about the H2D, that you can have the heated chamber on there, and so when it gets cold out here in this garage, I used to have to really watch the parts that I print in the X1 carbon, but now with the H2D, I don't have to worry about that. I just turned that spool holder upside down and it completely dropped the bearings on the floor. That roller went flying. Oh, I forgot to mention this. I did add a chamber heater inside of here as well. I'll show that to you. Oh, big guy. All right, I did add a chamber heater in here. You can sort of see it, this guy here. So that helps in the wintertime. I think I added this maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. And when I was living in Oklahoma, it gets really cold out there, snows and the whole thing. So this one here is just a PTC heater with a blower fan, and it can get the chamber up to 60 C in a short amount of time. That just connects direct to the power supply. And so it works pretty well. I think it was maybe, I don't know, 30, 40 bucks for that thing on AliExpress. It's got a power button and then 3 buttons here to adjust the heat. So you can have it on all the time, and then whether or not you want heat, you just turn it off. And it can work as a recirculation fan too. Highly recommend. Okay, what is this? So this is that Y splitter I was talking about. I just got this one from See Me CNC, and it's probably not intended for this, but it works very well as one of those. I think that's probably the same thing that you would see on the 3D Chameleon. I think they had something like this. Okay, that. And then, 37 screws around the perimeter here. And if you have never owned an X1 carbon, or even a P1S for that matter, as soon as you take this back panel off, it never quite fits exactly the same again. This one you can see is a little bit bowed here. And that's not an installation thing, that's just how it always was. So it's all 4 of these across the top and then down, and then you have the 2 for the chute there. Let that H2D cool down a little more, and then by the time we get all these out, turn this panel off, I should be able to pull those parts, start the next print. I want to let those fumes settle a little bit. What's everybody got going on today? It's a work day for most of us. Are you guys lurking at work? I am on leave, so trying not to work, only trying to do projects out here. So things like making sure we have an organized space, trying to get my workhorse printers back to working, and then doing a little bit of fun stuff too. The Prusa wire that we've been working on is nearly there. I'm waiting on, this was about to be a Prusa wire stream, but I'm waiting on a Flash programmer to program the INZ board, and Amazon shipped it to me. It's supposed to arrive today, but I have not seen it yet. And our mail doesn't come until maybe 3 o'clock or something like that, 3 p.m. Just way too late to stream. It gets too hot out here. Although this week is supposed to actually be nice. It's supposed to be, I don't know, mid 80s instead of upper 90s, which is really nice. 10 degrees makes a huge change. Do I have an SKR Mini E3 V3? I kind of. I've got one of these. This is a Biqu Tech E3 RRF. So this is what came out of my Ender 3. Yeah, this came out of my Ender 3. So I've got one of those. I don't know that I have an SKR. You could send you a Manta M4P. Hey, that would be awesome, dude. If you don't need it for a project and you would like to give it away, I will happily put it to work. I've got several projects that could use a 5P or a 4P for that matter. So this is part of that cleaning stuff that I do. So just trying to get some of the filament dust out of here, some of the belt dust. And then look at the belts too. They look good. I had to replace them a couple of months ago because, again, 3,500 hours of wear. But these belts were so worn that they were about to break. My idler here, this plastic idler, was cracked and broken, and so it was just off center. It was tilted, and so it was wearing on the belt, and that caused a lot of issues. And it took me a very long time to figure that out. But I replaced all the belts, and I'll tell you, that was a chore. You're tearing down the entire gantry just to get these belts out of there. And I figured since I was in there, I would replace the gantry too. Gantry is not cheap on this. It's $90 for a gantry. So, I mean, but you got to think, like, it's been working for 3 years. If I have to spend $90 to refresh it, it's probably worth it. Organizing, working on cleaning up workspace, trying to plan new projects and such. That's what you're doing. Hey, I'm doing the same thing, friend dog. I get very limited time off. Usually it's just the weekend, but I've got 2 kids who still live at home, and a wife who gets bored during the week. So the deal is 1 day for me, 1 day for them, and my 1 day usually is streaming. So if I want to actually get things done throughout the week, I've got to get up early before work and do it. I typically don't get to it after work. Just the way it is. So having a week off to just focus on this stuff is really, really nice. The kids are in school. She's doing stuff today. So I'm out here. All right, let's take a look at these instructions and see what I got to do. Of course, you're not going to give me the right window. Give me 1 second. Let's add you to here. There you go. Okay, so this is our window here. It's much cheaper than a P1. Also, he did much repair work on a company who has 11 X1s. Yeah, easier to swap the X beam and put new belts on. Yes, correct. But yeah, Bryce, if you want to hit me up in Discord, we can exchange info, and I definitely appreciate you. But again, if you're not going to use it, then I'll take it. But if you have any inkling that you might, please don't give up what you need. I think I want to. Oh, let's want to do this. I was going to turn it around, but I don't think so. Okay. Or add it to the next order I put. Well, I did see that you guys had some new stuff out, so I may be placing another order here right after stream. I just made an order 3 days ago, something like that. I ordered that new all-wheel drive kit from LDO. So I've got that one, and then Vitaly actually reached out to me and wants me to look at his all-wheel drive kit, and so I get to do a little bit of compare and contrast, which is going to be great. And Vitaly offered to be on stream and talk about it and things like that. And so it's going to be good, I think, for me and probably for the audience to be able to see what LDO offers and compare that to what you can get from Vitaly, and hopefully allow some folks some options and ask questions. So I'm excited to do that one pretty soon. All right, this is the GitHub here. And I've already gone through this a little bit. It gives you some of the features, right? 300% cooling, great. I print a lot of ABS on this machine, so I don't know that additional cooling is what I need, but here we are. You're not in yet, you'll be on Thursday? Hey, no worries, man. No worries. That LDO kit is on pre-order anyway, so I don't know when you guys plan on shipping it, probably the end of the month. But if that's true, you can just throw it in there at the end of the month. I'm not going to be able to use it, use a Manta probably for the next month or so. But here's what I'm thinking real time. You say Manta in 4P and 5P. Prefer, I think, in 4P. And that way we can put it in the V0. And then we'll give the V0 away as part of the raffle in November. Just an idea. Let's see. Okay, 4,500 RPM, brushless DC motor, great. I did come in here. The 3D model section is where I got the risers. So if you want to see what that looks like, it's already plated up for you, and you can turn you off. And you can see all the parts plated here. That's how it was. I printed it as is, and it was good to go. The other side of it was the manual. This is the manual here. You need to reach out to Vitaly. Can't wait to try the Rigid Z. Yeah, so I'm getting all of that. He's sending all of that to me. And so I figured I would... So I have a Revision A LDO kit. It's a green V2, and green is not available anymore. But I don't want to mess with it too much, but I do want to take it from Revision A to Revision D, and this is a good excuse to do that. Not only can we test out some Vitaly stuff, but we can also update it to Revision D. So Nighthawk, Leviathan board, it'll be all-wheel drive at that point, so we'll do the expander on it as well. And I think it'll be good content, good live stream for everyone to kind of see what that looks like. This secondary kit, that LDO kit, I plan on putting that on my my 3030 frame V2, which has all Vitaly parts on it right now. So we'll remove all the old Vitaly parts. Maybe we give those away or something like that. We'll put the LDO kit on there, and then we'll turn that 3030 frame V2 into an all-wheel drive V2. It's already running a Leviathan, so we just do the expansion. And that way, we'll not only can we look at the two kits and compare and contrast, but we can look at both printers after they're built and compare printers together. And I think that'd be pretty cool. Jelly of the green frame. It's my favorite. I'm not gonna lie to you. It looks so good. It's green with purple and silver as the colorway. Hey, Patty. Good morning, sir. Figured we would just go live to, because I'm out here anyway doing some upgrades on the Carbon. So why not do some other stuff? Let me add on here. Let me add on here this manual. Give me 1 second. This manual is going to be easier to see if I open it in Acrobat. So let me do that, and then, oh no, what happened? All right, let's do that one. And then we can do that one. Is that much better? How's that? Oh, come on. Going nuts today. There it is. Okay. Got it. Whew. Yeah, sometimes this stuff doesn't want to cooperate. All right. There's our manual and yeah, a bunch of specs on the blower, some wiring stuff if you want to know how that works. If you want custom, I don't know, brackets or mounting solutions, there it is. So I would imagine you could put this on a bunch of different printers. All you have to do is just modify some of the mounting things and you'll be okay. We've already printed this. Mine did not come with the little mount for a duck, so I'm pretty disappointed. And so power off, remove the front cover. We've already done that. I need to take the front cover off, and it looks like we're going to put the fan duct on. Okay. So I can definitely do that. Cover. The X1 Carbon, it's pretty simple. Just open that up like that and unplug, and it comes out. Pretty simple. Now, I think I'll take you, let me move some stuff on the workbench here. I've got a pile of extra things that came off of the X1 Carbon. So I just want to move some of the glass panels. I'll bring you over to the workbench here. Okay. Got it. All right. We'll move our hand power out of the way. These up here. All right. Couple more items. All right. So over here we've got this one. You need to get transitions going for your stream. You hate the hard cut you have. So the cool thing is, Bryce, is you can just you can get like a whole stream overlay package, and that package will, I don't know, give you, they call them stingers, but it'll give you all that stuff. Oh, wait a second. I already forgot. Talking too much. I don't think we need to modify this because we have the new one, right? We have the Jetpack. And so I could just install all this stuff in the Jetpack. Not have to worry about keeping things replaceable. We'll put that back. We'll take that one off. And then in the boxes that I just moved, we have the Jetpack, and we can just use this one. Oh, it exploded. Great. Very nicely packaged though. Look at that, it came with some stickers. Those are cool. And what is this? Oh, it's the tutorial for how to install. So you just get a little QR code. Fancy. Okay. Well, not a lot to it. Oh, that's great. It's already got magnets in. Everything is already installed. The other one that I had to do, I had to print. Sorry, not print, but I had to put new magnets in. I had to screw things together. And the way that it was printed with MJF, some of the ducts were a little bit clogged as well. And so I had to go in there with a pick and pick out some of the extra stuff. So it's nice that this is already set up and ready to go. Nothing else in the box? No. Okay, probably not going to need these Allen keys, but we'll hold on to them for now. So that is that part of it. The other part of it is in the kit itself, the turbo kit itself. So I did open this up and take a look, but I didn't really go through the instructions on it. So we're going to be learning this in real time. All right, so lots of out of the way. The box doesn't even fit on the thing. So here looks like our main turbo piece. Okay, so in here, this is the box that you get. It's got some clear plastic windows and a knob. I guess that's how we adjust. Hey, Digital Dragon, good morning. Be mindful of warping. One of mine is slightly warped and pops off occasionally during the print start sequence. Okay, warping of what exactly? Warping of this? This looks like it's 3D printed out of something, and then there's a flapper door. You have this flapper door here that's very thin, probably one layer thick of a 3D printed something, and then they have a pin that goes through it. So I guess you could reprint this if you really wanted to, but it looks like it's made from glass fiber something. Oh, the Jetpack cover, this one here. Or this one here. So I'm not printing anything on this. It's already got this little whatchamahoosit. Cool. So there's like a thing on here. Oh, that okay, that moves. All right, so that like turns to whether or not you want it like inside or outside. That's really cool. You can adjust it. Great. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for that, Digital Dragon. I'll be honest, I don't exactly know what you're talking about. You mean this one here? It gets too warm in the chamber. This little cover will warp out of there? Is that what you're saying? I think I had that on the other version I was using. It did warp and come out of there, but if it does, then I don't care. I will glue it in. We'll figure it out. To Petty, to answer your question, yeah, it's called the Jetpack, Panda Jetpack. So this is it here. And a turbo kit. And this is the Jetpack. This one been out maybe a month or so. I got it a while back. And then here, I don't know, it looks like we put a fan in here, I guess. I'm just taking an overview look of it. There's some of the electronics inside. So the controller board is up top on that plastic panel, and the actual CPAP is super small. Again, controlling power here on the top, and then I think there's a hose in there that'll connect here. A couple of connections with the button. This is where that extra power supply will go in. Yeah, the part itself can warp, allowing some misalignment of the magnets. This makes it prone to popping off and triggering an error. Hey, good to know. Good to know. Yeah, it's MJF, so I hope that it would not do that, because otherwise I'll be very disappointed and upset. What else do we have in the box? Oh, there's in the white box, looks like you got a hose. gonna be helpful. This is the part that we need to install inside of the fan, and I'm not sure what these metal things are for. We'll figure that out here in a few. And then a couple of cables and some hardware. So it already came with that adapter that we got in the power supply there. So that's cool. If you need to make your own, you can, and then a couple of screws. And that's it inside the box. Hey Kegel, good morning. Doing a little updates on the X1 Carbon today. Impromptu. So if you got notified or did not... Oh no, my phone's talking to me. If you did not get notified, or maybe you did, that's because I did not even want to do this until about an hour ago. Okay. So some of these look like they belong on the P1S, these type of connections, but they do match this one here. We'll see which one we end up needing, but that's all of the stuff in the box. All right, let's go back to the other one. Here it works. I just had a chance to join. That's awesome, dude. I appreciate it. Secure a new air duct with original screws. I think I have extra screws. I know for sure that I have a bunch of extra X1 hardware. So let me dig out that case. One of these under the desk here. Here you go. So I've got an extra tote, like this kind of thing, full of all of my spare bamboo stuff. I love these things. I get these at the Walmart, and they work great for all kinds of things. So in here, I've got extra hot ends. So here's a Panda hot end from E3D, unused. It's got an E3D high flow obsidian nozzle in there, and so until that thing dies, I probably won't swap it out. But what I need is some extra hardware, extra fans and nozzles, and then under here, this is the original buffer that came on the machine. But inside here, I've got a bunch of different hardware screws and things like that. 3s by 10s, I think they were. Just a bunch of extra stuff in here. I don't know what I'm looking for exactly, but something. Cool. Well, I guess I'll just take one of the ones from the original. Let's move you out of the way to someplace safe so I don't break that flapper door. Original fan duct is right here. I think these are just flathead screws anyway. Like self-tapping style. For such organization, that's very messy. Yeah, but it's in a case, so it doesn't count. If it's in a case or in a box, it's organized. Alright, so we're going to reuse these screws here. Those look like 2.5s. I don't know. That goes there. This goes inside. This is that duct for the CPAP, so it's got a threaded portion here and a magnet at the back. And the duct, you know, comes through here. So it works very similar to the other fan, and it fits where it should go here. Not to force anything. Don't want to break the new parts. So there are 2 posts inside of the Jetpack. And just looking to make sure that this extra screw down here matches with the extra screw here, because the duct seems like a tight fit. Like it doesn't want to slide over this extra post. It's organized but not sorted. No, it's some semi-sorted. That's all just like hot ends and fans and a couple of bits of screws. And then I have another case that's like PTFE and stuff like that for the carbon. As far as screws go, the only organization I do for that is I have a bunch of these little things. I wish I just put them in one large one, but ain't nobody got time for that. And I'm sorry if you guys hear jets flying around. It's a fly day today, so there are lots of fighter jets flying around. Come on. It's almost like the duct is warped enough, or maybe the housing is warped just so that things don't want to slide together. Trying to get these little pins lined up is a pain. There it goes. All right. Slid in like so, and then this should be one solid piece. Screwfinity works well. I need to do Screwfinity. Emoji 3D. Are you still building that antithesis? Mine is on the table behind me over here. I need to update it. Got some all aluminum parts that I need to put on it. And then some of the parts cracked because I printed them out of high temp glass fiber PLA. And so the extruder stuff, some of it cracked on me, just being too rigid and the vibration and whatnot. And so I got a very similar Ryobi green color. And I just need to reprint some parts and update the machine all at one time. It really wasn't a tough build for me. I think I built it in a day and a half, and then it took me like another 2 days to get all the clipper config correct. Printed yours from PCTG and PCCF. Nice. I don't have either of those, or I might have done the same. I just wanted some color to mine. It looks kind of crazy, and so I just wanted to print it out of Ryobi green. And at the time, all I could find was the Polymaker high temp PLA, and it worked great. I just over tightened something and cracked it. It will still work. It's just it bothers me, so I need to update. Okay, thread the air hose into the air duct like that. Okay, and then connect the opposite end to the turbo. Okay, I can do that as well. You like the green color? It looks good with the silver. Yeah, that's exactly why I did it. I was racking my brain about which color would look good, and it just so happened, like, as I was planning the project, as I was getting ready to get started, Polymaker released their high temp line of PLA, and I saw the green, and that just made sense to me. Come on, you. This is not as easy as I thought it would be. Like threading this on there. This will be my first machine with it. Well, that's a lie. This will be the first machine I built with a CPAP. The other printer that has a CPAP is my FL Sun S1 Pro, or S1, not a Pro. I've updated it to Pro stuff, but it's not a Pro. How's that Nebula build? Yeah, I'm interested in that as well. I would like to build a Nebula. I don't have an Ender 5 to work with. You ordered the Glacial Ice high temp PLA. All right, that sounds cool. I need to look at that. I don't know that I've seen that one yet. Is that the blue / white / light blue color transition one? If so, I've seen that. They got one that's like ice and fire, something like that. You're still breaking it in, Digital Dragon? You better get on it, man. You got like 2 weeks left. This coming Saturday, I get to go to Orange County Maker Faire. I guess that's a positive for living out here in California. Yeah, that external thread is a little bit, like as it goes on more and more, it gets a little harder to twist that on. But it's on there. And then I think what I'll do to make myself feel better about it is probably do a zip tie on there, just because it'll make me feel good. You enjoy building your Nebula 255? Yeah, I'm curious, what are the new projects that everyone's working on? I mean, right now I think I'm in the mojo, I'm in the season, I'm in the realm, if you will, of wanting to update older printers or provide new life for things that may be outdated, maybe a little less known, stuff like that. So we're currently working on the Mark III, changing that to a Prusa wire, bringing that back to new standard. And then a couple of weeks ago, we did the second SK Cube. So that was a refresh of an older design printer there. I don't know if that's going to help or not, but it makes me feel good, so we're going to do that. SLS Hydra arms. Ooh, that sounds cool. 3D Fuel does a very good job with their PCTG profiles for most popular machines. Moji 3D, I'm gonna have to check that out. I don't have any PCTG or experience with it, and I'm interested in trying it. So maybe I need to pick some up. I've used 3D Fuel for PETG, but not PCTG. Your next Nebula build will be a modified 370. That's awesome. You like building new printers, but a huge fan of updating older ones as well. Can't go wrong either way. I agree. I've got some newer, some old. I think the newest machine I have, the H2D. That one just launched in, I think, April, and I got that one at launch. I'll tell you one second. Give me a second here. I'm gonna unload that thing while I'm thinking about it. Then we'll start the next print. This is why I really like my H2D though. These parts are just flawless. These are parts for some DIN rail mounts and then a cooling tunnel for a Manta. And that build plate holds very well. Ah! That one like flew right at the camera. Finishing up a Riff 600. I don't even know what a Riff 600 is. And a Micron Plus. Oh, that's cool. I've got a Micron that needs to be updated to the new R1 spec. That is a project on the list. It just keeps getting overridden with other projects that I need to work on. Riff 600. I need to check that out. I've never heard of that project. Luke, I think I need to make you my new best friend so I can learn about all the new things. But then I probably end up with, 40 printers like you have. She is not going to go for that. And plus, I may be moving next year, and so trying to move 40 printers is a pain. Just getting 20 printers out here when we moved from Oklahoma to California, that was a pain. Had to get a U-Haul, and half the U-Haul was just 3D printers, shelving, and like bins of extra parts and stuff that I had for planned builds. Just trying to get this one set up and started again. That ABS likes to stick very well. And we'll do... Thought I had other parts on here to print. And I do. Here we go. Let's do these ones. Great. And so one of the things that I do is I'll slice a bunch of stuff, send it to the printer, and then just print it throughout the week. The slicing probably takes the most time. Getting everything set up, making sure you're not making dumb mistakes, just really being thoughtful about what you're doing. That takes a lot of time for me. Supports, making sure things are the correct density and enough walls and all that kind of stuff, depending on whatever project you're working on. Those things can get time consuming. So I tend to do all of mine like on Sunday morning before stream, or maybe after stream when I'm going back to clean up the YouTube video. I'll slice a bunch of stuff, send it to the printer, and then throughout the week just print that stuff off. Rift 600 is a V4 project. I've heard of V4 projects. I need to go check that out. You can look up the Rift 600 900 on printables. Okay, I'll do that. Bagels turning a 2.4 to 48 volt. I love it. With the Kraken board and Kraken motors. I love it even more now. Z motor mounts are CNC from Sin-Cut Sin, and the bed yokes are mini trucks. Were printed by N3D Tech. Have you had good experience with N3D Tech? I've never used them, but I hear that they're comparable to like a PCBWay or something like that, or I guess a Sin-Cut Sin is more accurate. What's it? Oh, okay. You're going to 3D Printopia and will be across the aisle from LDO. Congratulations! That's a great place to be, Luke. So I'm just catching up on chat here. You get the opposite wall, left side, as you come in the back. Very cool. Moji 3D, I need to get out there and meet you at one of these events sometime. Next one I will go to is Orange County Maker Fair. That's this coming Saturday. I'm only going for one day because LA is terrible. Right, we've done all of that. Now it's going to have us plug this in. And just reconnect stuff. And that goes on the back. Okay. What do I do if that cable doesn't match my... Holy crap. Ah, got me. So I was talking about all the fighter jets flying around earlier. One of the benefits of living out here where I'm at is that you get 7 to 30 sonic booms every day, and they shake everything. It sounds like a cannon going off, and everything shakes. That literally just happened, and it scared the mess out of me. I'm so used to it, it normally doesn't get me, but that one was extra loud. Thinking about doing the metal mounts. Okay. First and only time you use them, recommended by a turtle crawler. Okay. Hosting maker meetup at EcoVate 3D this Saturday in Raleigh. Very cool. Hopefully that turns into like a RepRap Fest and it becomes its own thing. You can call it ERF. I hear that name is available now. I don't have this connection because I don't have a P1S. So is there a different way to do that? Oh, here we go. I was looking at the wrong instructions. So if you have an X1 Carbon, you have to scroll down the page to page 20. Yeah. And then you get to the steps for the X1. We've done that stuff. Connected there. This looks like some sort of jumper. So use the stock cable and then plug it into that connection. Okay. Vitaly's a total enabler. He is, but he makes good stuff. I don't mind supporting folks that make good stuff. So if I can support Vitaly, I don't really care that he's an enabler. Kegel, if you had a product and you're trying to get it out there, I would support you. All right, so the cable I'm using is this one that has, I'll come closer, is the one that has this receptacle port female connection here. Come on, focus. And so that one will connect to the stock wiring for the fan. Bev seems like a nice person. We've been talking with her about the Unspooled podcast. Very cool. I don't know who Bev is, but you just bought Vitaly's new AB, XY, and Rigid Z. Nice, dude. I have his on mine, on my 3030 frame V2. I have his AB motors, XY joiners, older style V1 front idlers, and it can't use the Z because it's MGM 12. So other than the Z, I've got the full kit of Vitaly stuff when it launched. So I had to buy mine individual, and now I understand you can get it as like a full kit of things. So that's nicer. How does this route? Comes out the top and into the channel. So that said, once I get his new kit he's sending me the all-wheel drive stuff, I may need to rehome all the original stuff. I don't have another V2 to install it on, so if someone out there would be interested in it, hit me up on Discord and we can work something out. That's pretty simple. You just route the wire all the way through the cable chain, and then let's see where it comes out. Oh, she's with Ecovite 3D. Okay, very cool. I've not met Bev. His XY joints are excellent. I agree. I've got all of his stuff that he offered up to this point. Now he's got this new all-wheel drive kit coming out. And it's like a full gantry upgrade for the V2. I'm super excited to play with that. Let's see, where are we supposed to be here? So I've done this portion. Just as you route things through the cable chain. Mine is a little cleaner than this example. Not by much, but a little bit. And then reattach the front cover. From this step onward, the installation process is the same procedure as that for the P1. That's good to know. Please proceed to step 6 for P1 series and complete the install. Okay. Should be at 3D Printopia. Very cool. I'm not going to 3D Printopia though. I don't have the funds to be able to go coast to coast. So I'm not going. I'd like to. I've never been, but I won't be making that one, unfortunately. So I'm going to go to Orange County Maker Faire instead. I wanted to do Vice. I can't even figure out how to get the Vice right now. So that said, I won't be hanging out in October either. So it's probably the last event I'm going to do for the year is Orange County Maker Faire. All right, not exactly sure where this cable goes yet, so I'm just going to leave that dangling. PTFE tube. Actually, I think they wanted this connector to go like in the chain somehow. I'm considering adding a bit of shrink tubing to that, just to make sure that connection doesn't come loose over time with movement and whatnot. So we'll see how it goes. If it does come off of there, I'll just add a little bit of heat shrink over top, and that should hold it where it needs to be. Trying to get that in place. PTFE is in. Great. Love it. Here. That should go over there. Make sure we got enough. Right stuff. Good. And then it said to put this cover on. So we'll grab that part. You're just happy that rapid TCD will be in your area. Where's your area? Like, what state do you live in? Digital Dragon wanted to do Vice, but going to Form Next in November. Very cool. I've never been to Form Next either. Want to do a Voron build with your son when he's a little older? That'd be very cool. My daughters, I'm a girl dad. I've got all girls. I've got 3 girls. They're not really into this kind of stuff. My youngest will come out here and help out a little bit and that kind of thing, but she's not super interested in what I've got going on out here. She just wants to take my tools and quote help. But she's just a little bit young. All right, so this goes under like that. We're gonna put the PTFE to the right hand side, I believe, and our wiring behind. So this gets fiddly in here. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna take the tube out. Should help a little bit. Put this on. Wires go to the right. Catching on something over here. Doesn't want to. Why don't you want to go to your home? Oh, I see it. So this bit of wiring on the tool head is hitting up against the back of the fan duct. And so it doesn't want to sit flush. That sucks. I mean, I could try and force it on there, but it's an inch off. Like, this wiring does not want to sit where so it's hitting this surface right here, this curved area. So it's not allowing that to go on nowhere near where it should be. That is unfortunate. I mean, I could try to press it, but that's just going to not stay. It's going to override the magnetic force. It's just going to pop off anyway. That's frustrating. And I can't unplug that because that's part of the mainboard connection of stuff. Okay, let's go back up here to step 6 like they recommend. And pick up there and see if there's anything different. Yeah, this right here is different on the P1. Oh, you live in Maine. Okay. But it's in Boston in 26. Very cool. Your son is, you got him an Ender 2 Pro for Christmas. Very cool. I haven't heard of an Ender 2 Pro in a very long time. That's awesome, though. You're going to an after party at West. You're showcasing your subwoofer. I'm sure the neighborhood will love you. Yeah, so this right here is the biggest problem I'm seeing. In the center of the screen here. This is what the P1S looks like. On the X1 Carbon, this square is populated with a cable that projects out the front. and that projection hits up against the back side of the fan duct that we just installed, and so it doesn't allow the front face to go on. And so even though down below it talks about X1 carbon, go down here, it shows the X1 carbon and it shows the fan duct going on, no problem. That's actually not the case. You have one at work and modified a little bit. And then got your KB3 hardware kit for the push wire. Nice! Congrats, man. You're gonna enjoy that build. It's got feet on it now, and somehow it's even more powerful. I can really feel the air pressure waves. Yeah, I'm sad I'm gonna miss it, man. I'd like to go and hang out. Just not in the cards this year. It wasn't in the cards last year, and I forced it, and then just spent the rest of the year trying to recoup. See what we can do here. I don't know that there's much of anything I can do. I guess try to move some of these cables to the right, and they'll tuck inside of a little bit of a gap. But again, I think they just stick out too far. We'll see how it goes. And that's closer to being on. Let me, I just can't turn it where I can see it. Okay, so you can see the gap here. That wire bundle just doesn't want to move out of the way enough. And so what I did is I just kind of pressed it up against the side of this. And I'm using my tool to move as much of that to the right as possible. And then there's a little bit of a gap in between the fan duct here and the face. So I just want those cables to go in that gap. And you can see we get a little closer by doing that. But I still don't know if that's enough, because that connection is still there, and that connection is very strong. I don't know how this is supposed to work, folks. If I undo this, come on. I don't know what kind of connectors they use on here, but they are the most difficult things to get off. Maybe you need to come out this way sometime. You can if you like. There's not a lot going on out here. I am literally in the middle of the desert. It's not going to be an enjoyable experience. Trying to grab the connector and not the wiring. Oh, dang, I just broke it too. Crap. Well, that's not fun. I just broke that wire. So that's not going to be good at all. We're going to have to repair that. Okay. So I think I'm going to abandon this right now. This fan face does not work as advertised. Not for an X1 carbon, at least. If the fan duct inside was a little different, if this geometry was a little different here to allow those cables to hang out, then maybe. But right now, this is a no-go for an X1 carbon. That's frustrating. And I broke a cable trying to do it. So, got some repairs to do. All right. In the meantime, I can do the Panda status, though. So we've already got that on here. Here we go. Let's do a peel. That'll make me feel better. There it is. You've had enough Cali for a lifetime. Year and a half in Coronado, plus you were born in LA. Right, guy, I hear you, man. LA is its own thing. Every time the wife wants to go down there, I just dread it. Like, mentally, I've got to be prepared for that. And normally I'm not. LA's a lot. There's some fun stuff to do, don't get me wrong. I see why people live down there, but I also see why people hate it down there. Okay, let's take this build plate off. What'd you miss? You missed the Panda Turbo kit not working on an X1 Carbon. So I got this kit here. Got this Panda Turbo kit, and I was gonna put this on the X1 Carbon, but the fan duct does not work. So here, this area needs to be clearanced on the back of this CPAP fan duct. Needs to be clearance for this wire bundle, but it's not. And so the face won't go on. And if the face doesn't go on, it doesn't make any sense to try and install it because it doesn't work. So we're gonna have to figure out something else to do. And for me, that's something. And oh, and by the way, doing it, we broke a wire there. And so that's going to be its own thing. In the meantime, I'm going to do this Panda status and do some connections with that. I've already got the back panel off, and the wire was kind of roughly routed around the printer and plugged into the little module that just friction fits up here against the frame. So it's got this spring top on it, and that just goes up under the frame there. Press that together to compress it, and then you slide it in, and it just stays there with friction like so. Mother Kegler. Good morning, Clown Hammer. Yeah, I just decided to jump on stream for a little bit. Ah, man. The wire's gonna mess with me. There's going to be a more involved install than what was planned. Okay, wire for the Panda status. So I've got mine sort of routed under the chute. So it comes under the bed, and it's zip tied to. It's gonna be zip tied to the bed cable that's already here, so this guy here. And then I plan to just run this across like the bed cable, but instead of connecting to the main board, I'm just gonna follow this wire bundle up inside of the chamber here. If I can feed it through, it's not straight. Go. Come on. There she is. So just following that wire bundle up there. And then we can secure to, again, to that wire. And then it'll come across the back of the machine here and can connect to that little board that we were looking at a second ago. So I'll get some zip ties in here and clean that wiring up. We're going to use clear zip ties today because that's what I have handy. So first thing I want to do is snug it up against the bed wire. That way those can move together. I mean, it is attached to the bed, so it makes sense that they would move together. Like that, and then it can go kind of under the chute, and then up through this channel here with the rest of these wires. And if we move the tool head out of the way, you can see how those wires kind of come up here, and then they connect all the different connections inside. And because there's already a channel, I'm just going to tuck that into the cable clips that are already here in this back corner. and that'll add some friction to it so I can sort of tidy things up as we go. Come on. Top one is a little more difficult to get. Just 2 clips here, and it's holding wires already. Just adding a couple more to it. Great, like that. And then when I'm going under the chain, and then you get a little bit of slack here. Like that. And I'll zip tie that out of the way. There's a small hole right in the frame that you can use to zip tie that down. That hole down. Sweet. About as clean as it's gonna get. And then underneath, there's enough slack to sort of move things around. If you want to reposition, not a big deal. Reposition some stuff. I'm gonna leave that back panel off for a little bit until we can test things and make sure they work. Great. So I'm gonna take this over here. Turn this off. We'll turn back on this one. And I will take you guys to, instead of the Panda Turbo, let's look at the Panda stats. I don't know what all of these things are, but you've got your hot end, your claw, your aura, which I don't know what that is. But you can see all the different things they're going to come out with. So Panda Perch, that's the AMS mount. Hey, Ken Davis, good morning. I have an AMS guard. I don't know what that is. Oh, these things? Yeah, I got that. Panda Den. That looks pretty cool. That's the new thing they launched. A Panda Diaper. I don't know what a Panda Diaper is. And then you have a Panda Breeze for your A1. And then a Hue OTG. Not sure what that is. Sorry, the Panda status is what we want. Okay, so I've done that. This is the little case you're gonna have to print. It's fast. You can get it done in like 40 minutes. Put it in there and they clamp shut. Remove the plug, pass the power cable through, and then plug it in. And that's where we kind of left off. All right, so let me grab the rest of those parts. It came with a lot of different stuff, including extra, like extra VHB and stuff to connect things. So there are 2 VHB strips on the back of this. That's how it mounts on there. It just sort of sticks there with some VHB. If you build printers at all, you're probably familiar with this. Came with a cleaning cloth of some kind, and then some strips of tape so that you can tape your cable out of the way. I'm probably going to use these on the bottom of the bed, underneath, because there's nothing really to tie to, and right now it just sort of dangles down. You can tie it to the bed cable like I did and remove a lot of that slack, but you're going to have a little bit of a bow in there. So to prevent that, I'm going to tape it down. All right, so that's that. And then what else? USB cable. It came with one of those, but of course I put it somewhere else. Let me find a cable that will work. This looks like one here. It's a USB cable. And it doesn't look special at all. It's just a USB-C. Yeah, so right here, connect it up. run it through the port where your PTFE would be, and plug it into the side of this. I may end up trimming this plug here. It's just a rubber grommet that your PTFE tube runs through. Right back here is just a rubber grommet for this thing. So once you take that out of there, and of course we got this extra cable for the turbo kit that we're not using. It wants to be in the way. But just running this through this back hole, and then you can plug that in right to your little box there. We'll put that there, like so. Then it runs sort of out and then down. That's the challenging part, is like now you need a USB source. Where are you going to get that? Well, if you have something like we were talking about earlier, if you have one of these, then you can plug into this and that'll give you some power. If you've got, what's the other thing? The Panda branch, which is a like an AMS module that sits on the back. You could use that, or you can just use a standard wall socket. When you buy enough Panda stuff, they give you a real Panda. The diaper is for the Panda. The diaper is for me right now because I'm angry about that turbo kit not fitting on the face. Less so that it doesn't fit, more so that it caused me to break a wire. That's pretty frustrating, and something that makes the machine inoperable until I figure out a way forward. Trying to get that grommet back in there a little bit. Never gonna be fully in because the cable is coming out. I do like a lot of the Panda stuff for the X1 Carbon, but it does feel very much like an add-on. And that's not always the cleanest option. Cool, so there is that. What else do we do? I've already plugged in the small power cable. So we're good there. I've already routed it through this channel. This is what I was showing you guys a little bit ago. And then I went down inside of that little port right there. They want you to tape it to the front, and you can do that. But to me, it was cleaner just to run it through the back panel. Here you're cleaning, plugging it in, sticking it on, and then should be good to go right there with that. I need to tape underneath the bed a little bit like it's showing here. If you got an A1, you can still use this. It takes a different case, and just use some VHB and tape it on. So if that's something you're interested in, you could definitely do that. And then we get down to a note here. Accessories have spare tape, which is great. 5-volt can be used with the Panda branch, which we talked about. I'll show you what that looks like if you've never seen a Panda branch. I've got one over here, and I'll probably reinstall this. This is my Panda branch in a case that I printed for it. So it just adds a ton of AMS ports on the side, plus you get 4 USB ports here. I'm probably going to reinstall this simply because it gives me the USB ports I need without having to tap into the Panda power. I don't know that the USB cable is long enough for that. So yeah, we'll do that. And what else? First connection, let's see. Connecting to the Wi-Fi hotspot. I'm gonna do this on mobile. Oh, I guess I have to power the printer on first, right? If you power for the first time, you'll see a blue flowing light indicating the status is not yet bound to the printer. Okay. So we do need to power on. All right. I don't know if that's going to work well with the cable not working. We'll see what happens. Yeah, that extra wire broke in there. That was doing dumb things. All right. Well, actually, I wonder if we could just do. I wonder if we could just do regular power. Let me grab a longer cable here. And if I could just plug this into 5-volt port, that might actually be better. That way we can test and everything. So I've got this longer USB cable, and I've got power right down here. So I just plug this in. Should be able to test it without having to power on the printer. And there we go. We got some blue light. Very cool. Very cool. And there we go. We got some blue light. Move this down a touch here. Very cool. And if I can move this, it'll make the cable flow a little easier. All right. So that is that. Let's see if we can. The diapers for when the next sonic boom comes by. I love it. It did. It scared the piss out of me. It was so bad. It was so big. All right, let's see if we can connect to this thing. All right, they give us some instruction here for the hotspot. There it is. Then it says what the default password is. 54321. Because of course it is. And are we connected? Okay, connected. Cool. Then after connected, you open a browser and enter the default IP. Let's do that. So 192.168.4.1. Very cool. Look, let's go here. We've got it on mobile. So I'm just going to do English. English. Next. Then let's see, connect to Wi-Fi, is that right? I'm not gonna put my Wi-Fi info out there, so we can move that for a minute. So Wi-Fi connecting. Yes. All right. Once the scan is complete, a pop-up will appear notifying you the scan is finished. Connect to your Wi-Fi. This back up. Connecting to the Wi-Fi, and then doing the things. Connection, you can either bind the printer and proceed to the printer interface, or click cancel to stay on the Wi-Fi. We want to bind. All right, and then from here, it's going to have you select the printer and do a bunch of things. So maybe we do need the printer powered on to be able to do it, because otherwise, scanning printer probably not going to do what it needs to do. All right, let's see if we can power on the machine. I do have a power cable here handy. I hope it doesn't do errors with that broken tool head wire, but we'll see. 3, 2, 1. I mean, it came on. It's definitely going to give me an error. I already know that. I wonder if I can just buy a new cable. There's our Panda Lux. You can actually see what's going on inside the machine. A better angle on this. I think you guys can see that a little better now. Cool. So it actually didn't throw an error. I'm surprised. I'm surprised about it. Yeah. Anyway, I do have an error over here. It says the filament cutter handle has not been released. Oh, I wonder if that's the filament cutter sensor, that cable that broke. Anyway, so from here, let's get back to our mobile and see if that will. Printer. All right, so we're back on the printer screen. Let's scan for a printer. And we're gonna need access codes and stuff, so I'll get started with that one. Oh, so I can see the H2D on there. H2D comes up, but it doesn't show me the X1 carbon yet. There it is. X1 carbon. Okay. Pulls in the serial number. Let's look at what our serial number is. I always forget where this is in the settings. Settings. Serial number. $4,867 hours. That's more than I thought. I thought it was at 3,500, but I am way over that. I'm almost at 5,000 hours on this machine. That's amazing. And she still works well. It's crazy. Where do I find my access code? The one thing that I hate about this anymore, like since it updated everything, stuff is not where it's supposed to be anymore. Oh, here we go. I got it. So it's under LAN only. That to okay, so I think I have those things. Let's see if we bound it. Binding is successful. We turned green. Awesome. And I think that's it. Let's see if we can do. Yeah, we get the Panda status. Let's do change the color, maybe. Make it super bright. There we go. Oh, look at that. So it's going off of my voice. Right now it's in the light effect is called music mode. And so as it picks up sound, it's flowing with my voice. But if I turn it to, I don't know, a different setting, I don't know what other options are here. But as you change it, it can do other things. That's super cool. Super cool. Okay. Let's take a look at the rest of the setup here. We did all of that. Picked up the access code stuff. Now we are bound Panda status. It tells me to do the AP page. Where's that? AP always on. Okay, we're always on. That there, default is there, hotspot is that. Confirm this will restart the device. After the restart, you can connect to the AP hotspot. What? AP password, yes. Cool. Confirm. Okay. Great. And then from there, let's see, settings page. Yeah, we did all this already. Is there a firmware update? Settings page. Language is English. Firmware version, firmware update. Select a bin file for the update. Don't have a new one. So skip all that. Controls are cool. Music mode. H2D style. Let's do that. Control panel. Great. So it gives a great visual of what it's going to be. So right now it's in breathing mode. You can see that in the lower right. It's just breathing because it's in standby. And then as it downloads, it changes color. As it's prepping, it will do its things and then adds like a status bar, which is pretty cool. Now it really matches the H2D. Very, very cool. V1 is the most up to date, and that's where we are. So cool. That was a lot easier than I thought it would be. After that fiasco with the Panda Turbo, I'm happy to see that things just work. So very cool. What else can we do? I know we talked about Panda Turbo, can't do that. We got the, hey, low sync. Good morning. Getting close to the end of the things and the stuff here. So we just got the Panda status installed on the X1 Carbon. I tried to do the Jetpack with the CPAP Turbo Kit, and it doesn't work with the X1 Carbon. Actually, it broke my machine. It broke a wire. So I got to figure that out. But now that I know this thing, the Panda status works, we can power down and unplug so that I can put the Panda branch on here. Take this one out. USB cable. And I think that I routed this the wrong way. That's fine. How does this go? I'm just trying to look at what the how this route. Okay, so this is backwards actually. It should be this way. This goes. Wait, no, it goes this way. All right, I'll get this right one day. That goes in like that. We can connect this USB cable into the little Panda box. Goes in like so. This comes down, and it'll just sort of stick out on the right side, like that. I'm sure you could cut the grommet and do better, but that's how it is. For the branch, this will mount. It goes sort of here where your spool holder would go, so it's using one of your one of your screws here at where the spool holder was, and then a separate hole in the panel itself. But to put that on, we've got to do our back panel. So just holy crap! Sorry, I just dropped my panels. Thought they were gonna smash on the ground. I don't know why I put them up there like that. Let's move these out of the way. Whew, that scared me. All right, so cable through. That, and then PTFE through. And my gut tells me I'm gonna have to just take this all the way off of here again because the grommet doesn't like it. All right, PTFE through, grommet back on, and then we'll just put the panel on before we do the grommet again. Move that out of the way. This is the hardest part, is getting it around these idlers because it sort of clips under them. That. And like that. And then once you get it, it'll kind of stay on there and allow you a free hand to do all of your hardware. I usually start with this top one because that'll hold my panel where it needs to be, and I don't tighten it all the way. I just kind of put it in there to hold the panel, and then I'll do the same across the top. I think I've taken this X1 carbon apart, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 times, doing different mods and stuff to it. I had to take it apart to install the X-axis. Had to take it apart to do belts, had to take it apart to install the heater, all sorts of things. And it looks really nice, but it is not the easiest machine to work on if you need to do a thing. And I'm kind of hesitant like putting this all back together anyway, because I know that I'm gonna have to get into that tool head next and repair that. I gotta see what Bambu has on their website as far as spares. I can sort of tighten these down. The way that I like to do it is kind of get them in and then go down this way. That way any like misalignment or whatever kind of falls to the bottom and we get pretty clean gaps across. Okay, so instead of putting a spool holder here like it recommends on the sticker, that's where we put our branch. And these are just some M3 hardware socket head screws. They are, how long? Let's see. They are 35 millimeters long. And they stick out more than enough to be able to engage your panel. So you could probably get away with doing maybe a 25. Yeah, maybe a 25. This is what I have on mine. So that just sits there, and then this screws into place. So get one pretty close, do the other, and then you can snug it down from there. Now using this does negate the use of a side spool holder at all. So you're probably going to have something down next to it to be able to hold your filament if you're doing single spool type stuff. Otherwise, just use your AMS. I run a lot of filled fibers filament when I'm printing 3D printer parts, and so it tells you not to run that through the AMS. So for me, I sort of always have a spool holder down here because those filled filaments typically need to be dried and stored well. And so all of mine I keep in a poly dryer. And so I just have the poly dryer box sit right next to it and do that. That AMS needs some love anyway. I need to tear it apart because it's clogged or there's like broken filament in there or something. But it doesn't want to play nice right now. Do that to keep things and stuff out of there. And what else do we have? We've got one there, got there. That one, and then we've got, you know, your coarse threaded screws are for your chute here because that goes into plastic, so you don't want to tighten that very much at all. Just sort of put that on there snug, and then once it stops turning, just stop turning on it. And same for this lower one here. You've got one more above your power outlet. That also goes into plastic. So once you get that where it's going, leave it alone. And then finally, you've got one more down here, but I think I was always missing that screw. I had missed it from up here, but now that we're going backwards, I would be missing it there. So what you could do is you just got this simple, I think this is an M6 socket head, and that fits in the same place. Doesn't match, but it's on the back. Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna know. Cool. So that goes there like so. I need to put my AMS hub back on. But what's different is now that you have your Panda branch, you need to make your branch accept power. So use your short cable. And that goes from here into your branch. And it's hard to see because I printed mine in black plastic, but there's writing on here that tells you what to do. So this upper one is your inlet. And so that's where this 4-pin cable goes. And that'll give power to basically the module here with the shortest distance. And then the other 4 ports that you have are output. And so you would use longer 4-pin cables here, and that would go from this over to your hub and then over to your AMS. The way that I'm going to do this is this. Get our longer hardware here. Other tool. And install the hub once again. So snug one, and then get the other one going. You can send the other one home, and then go back and retighten the other. Great, done. All right, let's move some of this stuff off the work surface. We've got our USB cable here. That can come out through, so under our PTFE tube, but through our port. Rubber grommet goes back in, and that should keep nice. Actually, I think that was supposed to go between the panel. I jacked that up pretty good. Okay, we can jam it in there. It's rubber and it'll work. Okay, and then push that PTFE tube back through. Come on. Doesn't want to play nice. There it goes. And I can place that back in the tool head for now. We're gonna have to take that apart later. Great. Got it. And then for this one, you can zip tie this extra stuff up. You can use the twisty tie it came with, whatever. But I like to route this down underneath here. And then I will go over top of my USB. That way I'm clear of the chute. And I don't want to wrap up my PTFE. Come on. Stay under that. Like so. Over this. Keeps it out of the way of the chute. And you can sort of tuck that up against the cable and that holds it in there. And then the extra stuff, you can just do whatever you need to do with it. But you can use your USB port right down here. And turn that over right like that. And I'll get power all the time. Use a zip tie to clean this up a touch. There it is. Uh-oh. Dropping tools. Done. Very simple install for that thing. And again, you could use some of that tape to tape that down if you want to. Not required though. It is on the back of the machine. Who's really gonna see that, you know? All right, this piece here. So we got our splitter again. How we had it before was the feeder goes in this way. So we've got our retention portion that goes in like that. Make sure we go all the way in flush. And then install our clip. And then from here, I had this go like, goes like this. And then we install our clip, which doesn't like to clip under the whatever you want to call it, the PTFE connection. And then we're back to where we were. Very cool. Well, that is that. We got a little bit of a refreshed X1 carbon there. Again, we talked about the high flow obsidian hot end. The thing's been doing well. I've had it installed for the better part of 2 years, and it's been great. I haven't had clogs and stuff like that. It's also got the Panda frame extruder stuff, and then it's got some hardened gears in there. So we're getting there. We are getting there. Crucial wire core 0. I'm not sure what that is. We are focusing. Quite silly. You don't like the Panda status? Sorry, I missed a few messages here. Let me go back a little bit. We got bearded printer. Okay. Welcome, sir. Finally caught one of my streams. Yes. Thank you for being here. Who else? Bambi, what is that thumbnail? Putting a Prusa in an X1C. This was an impromptu stream, so I was like, hey, make me something. That's what it made. I plan to go back after stream and update it with something that makes sense. But sometimes you get in a rush. This was like 40 minutes ago. 40 minutes before we started stream, I was like, hey, let's stream this. What else? Quite silly. Yeah, I like it. Putting a Panda into an X1C. Yep. You don't have enough filament there. Oh, dude, this is like half of it. So you can only see, you know, maybe 3 rows. There's another 4 rows beneath this, and there's another one of these over there. So, and then up above, I've got 2 rep racks that has, I don't know, maybe another 50 spools or something like that. So roughly 250, 300-ish spools of filament. hanging out. But I'm glad you made it. Just in time to wrap it up. But cool. I appreciate you guys hanging out for a little bit. Just wanted to do a little bit of service on the X1 Carbon, and in the process, we kind of broke it. So, can't win them all. I need to go back and figure out if Biqu Tech has a solution for that Panda Turbo kit, because as is, it's not fitting on my X1 Carbon. So I need to look at that stuff. In the meantime, I think we're gonna try to stream again on Thursday for a little bit. Whatever I happen to be working on at the time, we'll just jump on, do a little bit of streaming for an hour or two, just hanging out, talking trash, trying to keep folks entertained as they're at work and stuff like that. So if you are out there lurking, I appreciate you. All the watch time helps the channel grow. So whatever you're doing this week, enjoy it. We'll see you guys in a couple of days.